Just these dudes hanging out in some tracksuits. He looks a bit angry. Well, hello everybody, welcome to a new video. In this video, I'll be getting into Baltimore in Maryland, a city where I have found the harshest looking decay, one could say. Something between homelessness, addiction, decay, abandonment, just a very rundown, not a rundown city, but a city with a lot of rundown places. And I know that every bigger American city has these places, but it's something about Baltimore that struck me more than, for example, even Kensington Avenue in Philadelphia or Skid Row in Los Angeles. So I've been thinking about how to do this video because I cannot cover a whole city, and the kind of areas I want to be looking at are in all sorts of parts of the city. So I've chosen 3 streets that I will run down with you together, sitting here in my girlfriend's pullover. And let's just see what we find, I guess. So the first thing I want to show you is a street called Oldtown Mall, which starts right here. Yeah, kind of in the city center. Also, by the way, the Google Maps Pac-Man is blue, which is quite interesting. It's all over the US or all over the world, maybe. Anyway, this is Oldtown Mall. I guess you know now in which direction this is going. A very different way of sightseeing, and certainly a video I would not have made in person. Maybe this looks even quite peaceful comparing to what's to come, because there's just seemingly nobody around. Just cars and just a lot of rubbish in the city center, The reasons for such decay are manifold. It would need a whole thorough analysis. But I guess it has to do with the drug epidemics, it has to do with the housing prices, unemployment, consequentially all sorts of things. This is even quite beautiful New York fashion. Like, it's beautiful to see these, former industrial houses kind of overgrown a little bit. But we are still quite central. So I guess this gives it a kind of a feeling of, And there's still some places also operating. Human Hair Week. Supreme Rock and Linoleum. Young Children's this and that. And there's a young child. What is this even? Snowballs. Are these like drinks or cocktails? Cooper's Liquors. Yeah, I mean, on a sunny day, this looks fine. But again, for a European, this all just looks pretty spooky. There are lots of cars around now. Fresh meat, supermarket. I suppose this was a nice shopping street back in the days, but not so much anymore. And the thing also with American cities is that these rundown parts just also suddenly stop, Like, money has been invested here, it has been taken care of. So it's very, very different. Just one street further. The next street I want to be looking at is Calverton Road. Calverton Road is a street in West Baltimore between Frederick Avenue and West Lexington Street. Many of these places I've picked up from Reddit, asking Baltimoreans, people from Baltimore, which street or part really spooks them? And these are some of the answers that came. There were others, but of course it's also dependent on what the Google Street View car captured. This is from 2008 also. Oh my god, It's like the beginning of the internet. But anyway, it changes now, and this is South Calverton Road, I guess. And again, it looks just not so... It looks a bit... Well, I guess you kind of could get used to it. But... I mean, just the way these people are looking at me... I don't know. I guess it's just sort of probably still fine and safe. I mean, they all look pretty well dressed, have nice cars. I don't know what they're doing around here. Maybe they're living here, maybe this is their neighborhood. I don't want to insult anyone, but I also feel like this is something that should be seen somehow. And I mean, it's right out there, but like, who is going on Google Maps and traveling these roads? I mean, if you're from the area, you might know. Otherwise, you just might not know. And maybe there are even worse places to look at on Google Maps. I'm happy about recommendations. Drug-free. Alright. I believe every word that's written there. Just these dudes hanging out in some tracksuits. He looks a bit angry. There's this YouTuber, Charlie Bow. If I think about it, I will link his channel in the description. He drives through all sorts of areas just like this, all over the US. I believe maybe even Canada. During the day, at night. And it's a very interesting watch, because somehow it seems safe, I mean, not safe, but like... He hardly has any sort of aggressive, violent behavior towards him, because probably he is seen as belonging to these neighborhoods somehow. And I mean, there's still buses going, so that's, I guess, kind of always a little bit promising. But yeah, it's not the most prosperous of all areas, even though the people here are somehow taking care of themselves. Old Chippy. Fish and chicken. Maybe it's not a chippy. It should say fish and chips, shouldn't it? Yeah, people are living here, obviously, in some condition or other. Yeah, and this is it again. I think these bigger streets tend to be fine because there's some businesses, parked cars, like somehow it feels like there's more life, but all these abandoned houses and piles of rubbish that are just kind of littering around. As you can also still find so many of these in Detroit, where I should also kind of make a video, but I quite don't know how. I have an idea, but I haven't found the perfect street yet to do it. Well, anyway, the third street I want to show you is right here, North Patterson Park Avenue, in East Baltimore, Northeast Baltimore. And I want to start at the very end of the road because it's very, very almost like suburban. I mean, it doesn't look too promising except for this marvelous building standing right here. I don't even know what that is, Some old fancy manor. But yeah, abandoned or semi-abandoned industry. But as soon as the houses start, it's just fascinating and sad for an urban traveler, in a way. Oops, went down the wrong road. My bad, I'm new around here, definitely new. Which is my road then? This one. Yeah, so parked cars this dude is just chillaxing here in July 2019 in the middle of the day. There's some hangout going on here. Yeah, it does remind a little bit of Kensington in Philadelphia, but it does have a little bit of a different vibe because it's less built up areas. Oops. I wanted to look at this guy. Yeah, I mean, what do I know as a European who was part of a gang and who not, but if I had to call someone out, this guy with the tattoos is part of some gang or other, but doesn't mean that, oh, we're getting closer to this building. It doesn't mean that all gangs are, you know, necessarily evil with one another or enemies. Right, a crossing with Gay Street. Yeah, I mean, this is just, like, imagine this at night. Like, But I guess you kind of get used to it. Coming soon. How soon is my question. How long can I wait? Motorbike. Pretty nice. I mean, these houses are beautiful and some of them have fresh layer of paint on them and are well taken care of. Others just ruin the whole neighborhood, you know? God knows who lives in these buildings. And even this, you know, if this is your neighboring building, then you know, imagine being a bus driver here. Oh my god, you know, it's just so creepy, but maybe it's not all that bad. It just looks creepy to me. Now what is this then? It's American Brewery. It's a brewery with a mansard, very fancy mansard style roof. So here it looks fine again, then again it doesn't look fine. Rising Zion Baptist Church around the corner has moved from this beautiful corner building. I mean, just look at all of this, you know. When it's not boarded up, I always feel like there are some people inside. Yeah, and it really changes so quickly, but also doesn't, and especially in this east, I mean, look at this, has been burned, often burns from like drug use somehow, huh? So if you heat up some kind of drug, I think, I'm not too sure, but I watched some videos about such kind of abandoned urban areas, and they're very drug infiltrated. New York food market best prices in the neighborhood. And maybe also the only prices in the neighborhood. But now it gets kind of fine again. You know what I mean? And then it gets kind of abandoned again. And there are whole blocks and streets that are completely sort of like, you know, the city government has turned a blind, is this a saying, blind eye on them. What's laying here on the road? Just a bag of poo, or just a bag. Yeah, and here, new sports grounds, you know, investments. It's like beautiful. But how can you live here with 500 meters? Like, it's so strange to think that there, I will just call them no-go zones if you're not part of that particular community, that you couldn't just go in that direction. That's so odd. You then only 3 directions in which you can go from your house. But so October 2020, Halloween, happy haunting. It is already haunting enough here, I dare say. But yeah, this is one part of Baltimore, and there are more streets like this. And yeah, I really don't know, because how are these? How do you even get around? You know, people on Reddit were like, yeah, I hope my car doesn't break down on this road, or that when I'm cycling or when I'm delivering something to people, it's just, I hope this address doesn't show up. It's just so strange and so sad and so fascinating at the same time what a big city can look like, you know, left like whole districts left completely unattended and no one taking care of them anymore. For this or that reason, I guess. Do you start with the drugs, or do you start with investing money, or do you just do more social work? I mean, I guess all of these things at the same time are useful. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I see you for the next video. Bye bye.